Sacagawea friends and families. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope this video is finding you in good health, and I hope you're feeling creative today. I have a cool idea for something that we can put together. Before we get started, here's what you're gonna need. Permanent ink. You want permanent black ink. So I have a larger Sharpie, and then I have a smaller Sharpie that I can use for fine details. An assortment of highlighter pens, a piece of paper, and I'm using cardstock paper, which you probably don't have at home, so just regular drawing paper is okay. A piece of paper that you cut in half because you don't want to have to waste all your ink coloring in one large picture. And what else do you need? Oh yeah, some examples. In just a second, I'm going to show you a slideshow of images of blacklight posters, and hopefully that'll help inspire you. Beforehand, let me show you this. So here's how a blacklight poster works. You want strong contrast. So you have areas like this in the background that are solid black, and they make the areas like this, like the imagery that I drew, really pop, especially after you color it in with the fluorescent ink of a highlighter marker. When you put the image underneath a blacklight, it should glow. And I can tell you for sure that the orange and yellow highlighter definitely work. Little history about blacklight posters. They became really popular in the late 60s to advertise rock concerts. They were really popular in California, like especially in San Francisco, the Bay Area, and then down to Los Angeles. In the 70s and 80s, they were still pretty popular, but they kind of started to taper off a little bit. And in that time period, the blacklight posters took on more themes of like fantasy. So you saw like castles, wizards, unicorns, rainbows, dragons, that kind of stuff. Take a second right now. Let's get all those supplies together. Make sure we have everything we need. If you don't have the supplies right now, remember that all this stuff can be purchased at like a grocery store, an office supply store, or like a pharmacy. So if you have to run some errands, or if your family has to go out and run some errands, go look for the school and office supplies section at the grocery store or at the pharmacy and see if you can find the highlighters and stuff, okay? Once you have those materials, take a look at the images I'm about to show you and see if there's any that stand out and see if there's any that you want to work with. Okay, let's look at some pictures. So you all know I'm a big fantasy fan. I love fantasy. I love sci-fi. Can't help it. A lot of the stuff that I draw when I'm doodling is related to those things. My best friend Craig also loves fantasy. He's really, really good at playing Magic the Gathering. So I drew him this wizard casting a spell with his name above to hang in his office. Once you have an idea for the image you want to work with, and again, I'm going with fantasy, you're going to draw it out on a piece of paper. And you're going to draw it out in just black ink. After you draw it, it should look like a coloring page that hasn't been colored in yet. And then take your black Sharpie and start coloring in some of the spaces. The spaces that I'm coloring in are mostly in the background. And I want a nice solid fill of black ink. So I'm gonna go in and start thinking about what areas need to be filled in first. Do the black permanent ink before you do anything with the highlighters, okay? All right, go ahead and get started. I'm going to try and restrict myself to just using my highlighter pens. If you don't have highlighter pens, and if you're not gonna be able to get to the store to buy any highlighter pens, you can just do this with a regular marker or color crayons or color pencils, you're not gonna get the glowing effect if you put it underneath a black light, but it's still gonna look cool. I'm gonna start with my favorite color. And when I go in, I'm gonna start thinking about where I want those colors to go and how I can spread them out throughout my picture since I only have a few colors to work with anyways. All the white spaces in my picture, I wanna fill them in with some color. And highlighters tend to dry out pretty quick. So if you're using highlighters, again, try and keep it on a smaller piece of paper so that you don't run out of ink as soon as you start. All right, keep coloring.